Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new. I'm B, and I want to talk to you today about Psychology Junkies one-on-one type clarification process, interview, session. Okay, so I met Susan when I interviewed her for the Independent Minded Mom Summit. And you can get the recordings for those if you want them. I'll put the link in the description. Anyways, she's incredible. She's so knowledgeable about everything that she knows. She covers the MBTI Myers-Briggs type indicator, personality framework system, and also the Enneagram. So I had learned about her previous to meeting her, of course, back in the day when I was trying to figure out why I was the way that I was, like a lot of us do. And I came across her really well written and comprehensive, extensive articles on psychologyjunkie.com on MBTI. And later on, I discovered her work with the Enneagram. So I don't remember when it was like couple weeks ago, I just realized that she had posted this type clarification session, which is like, oh, if you always test like back and forth between different types, then book a call with me and I'll help you figure it out. And I was like, wow, this is so fun and exciting. And it's like, spring. So it's like a new year. And I just had a lot of good things happening in my life. So I was like, I'm going to take her up on this. Um, the reason why I thought I would be a good candidate for this was because, short story, I had always typed as an INFJ. And when I read things about INFJ, it resonated with me. It's like INFJs are perceptive and they notice patterns and they like to keep their environment organized. And um, there's much else to the INFJ, which is worth looking at. However, there were things that as time would go on, I started being like, is this actually how I am? Or is this the way I was conditioned to be? Because the longer I'm an adult, the more that I kind of come into myself as an adult, right? Like just the way that I naturally react without authority figures and like my big family like influencing how I act, right? Because I'm one of 5 kids. The longer I'm an adult who's married and has her own kids, the more like ownership I take over my life, right? And the more natural my tendencies become to like what I'm comfortable with, what naturally like just comes to me, um, instead of ways that I was conditioned to behave and therefore kind of like rewarded or not punished for accordingly, right? So I started just noticing that I'm naturally pretty messy. And this was like the first thing that, well, this is not the first thing. This was the most recent thing that caught my attention that made me think, I wonder. And so I started thinking about it more, and then I started thinking about like the extroverted feeling tendency or function, which is really representative of the INFJ. And starting to think, is that how I am or is that codependence? And I got my answer. Okay. But anyways, the very first thing that it was kind of hilarious because the very first thing that made me think I'm not an INFJ was the fact that everybody online is saying they're an INFJ and it's supposed to be the rarest type. And I'm thinking to myself, there must be something to this. You know what I mean? Like if it's so rare and everybody's saying their testing is this, I wonder if I could be one of the people that's like mistyped online. You know what I mean? And Susan did share with me that like a lot of the online tests have an intuitive bias. So a lot of people, she would say like particularly INFPs, INTJs, INFJs, and ISFPs would test as each other because of the online bias. Like they're commonly mistyped as each other, those four. So I thought that was really interesting. And we discussed that during the summit as well. And that's back when I still thought I was an INFJ. Um, as the years went on, right, I started to realize not only was I messy, but I'm very observant and I'm very like I make decisions based on like my own values. And so I just kept reading the memes and everything else. I'm like, I think I could be either an INFP or an ISFP. A lot of ISFP things I would read, I'd be like, wow, that sounds just like me. But then I would think I was discounting some of the things about INFJ that I thought it was. So, long story short, I booked a session with Susan and I was not disappointed. So, this is how the session went. Okay, I clicked on her link in bio and then I went, oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't click on her link in bio. I went to the website that she put the acuity scheduling thing, right? Where I scheduled, I paid, it was 99 bucks and well worth it. And I booked the session with her, and then the session came. As soon as we got on the call, she's very warm and friendly. And then she's like, okay, let's get into it. And so she started asking me these really good questions. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, she's got all these good questions. Let me make sure I answer them completely. And I really trust her expertise. She's very knowledgeable. Um, and she pays attention, and she's been doing this for so long. So she asked me things like, do you remember what you were like as a child, and how do how would your perfect day go, and how do you react under stress? And that's just a small preview of the many good questions that she asks. Like, and at the end, she was able to surmise, if you will, that I'm actually an ISFP, the tortured artist. That's hilarious because that's one of the things that actually led me to be like, oh, yeah, that's me. If there's a stereotype, the tortured artist, that's definitely me. Like, um, anyways, I'll stop saying like, fuck. So she told me why though. Um, After she told me that it's most likely that I'm an ISFP, she told me the reasons why. And she differentiated between ISFP and INFJ. One of the things she said was that an ISFP is driven by their inner morals, right? Like what they determine is right and wrong. And what drives an INFJ is like the people around them and how they're feeling. And that INFJs feel responsible for other people's feelings, even, even though it doesn't have to do with them or whatever. And that ISFPs think that each person is responsible for their own feelings, which I couldn't agree with more. I've literally written like full substacks on these subjects. And I just think it's funny tying it all together in the end. Um, I might have been able to come up with this on my own, but I think I would always wonder, like, what would a practitioner, an MBTI practitioner say? You know, what would they like, what's my definitive type? And I feel very confident after accessing my own intuition and then also consulting someone who has spent much time diagnosing people's personalities, if you will, and differentiating between multiple, right? Like she has so many videos about how to differentiate different personality types. But I just feel really good about getting on the phone with her, getting on a video with her, having her like observe me and listen to my answers and then pull from her expertise to be like, yeah, this is what I think you are. It was so helpful. I really loved it. And I encourage you guys, if you do feel like you might want a clarification, or you just want like, you're pretty sure you're this, but you just want to know, like, based on a practitioner's expertise, I would strongly encourage you to go book a call with Susan. It's only 99 bucks, dude. Um, Anyways, so I'll put the link down in the description. And if you do go, book a call with her, let me know what you got in the comments, because I love talking about this stuff. This stuff is so intriguing. I'm going to do another video on what it's like to be an ISFP when it relates to, me in the world and motherhood and everything like that. And also like my family's types and how that all like how that dynamic is. So it's going to be really interesting. I truly do think that personality typing is one of the best ways, both as an introvert and like a scholarly person, somebody who likes to gain knowledge, right? Oftentimes, introverts are very just like knowledge keepers, like we prefer to be in the inner world, in our inner worlds. And a lot of that is like information and thoughts and feelings and stuff. Um, so I think it's very helpful in highlighting your natural strengths and weaknesses so that you can improve yourself based on your true potential and your own like capacity and not someone else's version of success or personal development, right? Like we shouldn't be following anyone else's template. We should be designing self improvement based on what our personal potential is. And personality typing is a very, very helpful tool in doing so. And it's one of the things in motherhood that has allowed me to not take things so personally and to also realize that like my kids are not me. It's a very sobering but very welcome tool in showing you that like life is not all about just you, right? Like here's how you are and then here's how they are. And so what we need to do constantly in our lives is try to understand other people and have compassion and realize that like everyone's hardware is different. Like everybody functions differently and we have to respect that, and that's the real bridge to like compassion and respect and peace ultimately. So this has helped me so much in my family life, all the personality typing work that Susan does at Psychology Junkie. So this is a video made out of gratitude to her, but also appreciation for the MBTI framework in general, and an encouragement for you to continuously always keep self knowledge at the forefront of your life, and to continue to get to know yourself better and better all across the motherhood stages. Yeah, so that's it for today. I'll see you later. Bye.